Alright guys, welcome back to Mikey Reacts. Today, as you guys know, I've done quite a few reactions on Buddy Brown before, musically and also some of his, like, you know, he has those like truck sessions where he talks. So this one is about, obviously you guys know the Women's World Cup is happening right now. I'm not really watching it, I'm not really a soccer kind of guy, but the US team was beaten, was it a few weeks ago? I can't remember by who, I don't really know. But the one name I do know is Megan Rapinoe, or Rapinoe, I don't know how you pronounce it. But she is either universally loved or universally hated. She has some really interesting views about the United States. So today we're reacting to Buddy Brown talking about America's Karen, the worst athlete to ever represent the USA. This is very, very interesting because I have heard before that she has made some really negative statements about the United States whilst representing the United States, which is really weird concept to me. You know, she's obviously doing the job for financial purposes or because it's her work, but she doesn't really love the country she's representing. So this is very interesting. I want to know what he has to say about it. I have some opinions too. This is going to be a short video, and I'm going to do the rest, another segment on Patreon regarding to this video. So let's get to it. Guys, whilst I bring this video up, don't forget, if you enjoyed this video and you like this channel, don't forget to like it and subscribe to the channel. You can go down to Patreon, which is down below, and you'll see the rest of this video on there in the next couple of days. It's only $5 per month, and you get unlimited access to all my exclusive videos that you will not find here on YouTube.
Full-on copperhead season down here in Mississippi, and you better watch every single step. We're having us a snake killing. Time to get after them. Speaking of snakes, y'all want to see something terrifying? No, for real though. I do appreciate...
Sorry to pause it, but the reason I love watching Buddy Brown, not just because I enjoy his opinions and I actually agree with a lot of the things that he says, that might anger some people, but because he's funny, he's got a good sense of humor. I know a lot of you guys as my subscribers actually really enjoy his stuff. So I think he's hilarious. I think he's a national treasure. But let's get back to it.
How people with purple hair dye their hair that way, because it lets us know that not only do you have a very low IQ, but you've got a very high opinion of yourself. Down here in Mississippi, we just say bless your heart, because we know you're way too dadgum stupid to argue with, and we ain't got time to argue with you. Mama's got a pie in the oven, and Daddy's smoking a brisket on the back porch. Now listen, we got this Megan Rapinoes, and she is definitely one of these bless your heart candidates. She is a dangerous, hate-filled, left-wing extremist who also plays soccer occasionally, and she has offended millions and millions of Americans already. She wants biological men to compete against women. I believe that's actually hate speech. Since, you know, women can't compete against a man physically, and you know this, you want to purposely take away a lifetime of work away from women. That's just hateful. I feel like it's ironic that I'm the one that's actually defending women's rights. Why do you hate the achievements of your own gender so much, Megan? You know? I mean, do you feel like these little girls growing up today should go up against men and get completely dominated by them? Or why not just ask Venus and Serena Williams about how that works out? Because back in 1990...
This is a really good point. Listen to this very, very clearly. This is actually really interesting.
They were both at the top of their game in the whole world. They made a statement and a wager to each other saying, we could take any man in the world who is above the 200 ranking mark. First off, they were smart enough to say they had to be ranked, 200 or below. But there was a man who obviously stepped up, and it was a German guy named Karsten Bracht, and he was ranked 203rd in the world. He beat Serena 6-1 and Venus 6-2. This is what happens when somebody like Megan gets a false sense of their own importance. Dude, like 64 people showed up to watch your World Cup match in 2019. I had a bigger audience watching my ping pong tournament at the neighborhood gathering in my garage the other night. I know y'all seen that video of a bunch of 15-year-old high school boys beating the living slop out of Megan and the rest of her team. See, they ain't nothing special. It was just a scrimmage they had a while back, and they beat them, 24-1? Matter of fact, I think it's a shame that they let one goal score. So y'all wanted some good news? Here it is. This ain't 2016 anymore. Nobody bats an eye when they get called transphobic anymore. That tactic doesn't work anymore because everybody sees through it. I actually find myself rooting for the opposing women's soccer team now when they're playing in the World Cup. How sad is that? But that's how far out of line these players are. They don't represent America. They represent hate toward biological women with real dreams to win a World Cup. Men have taken over women's sports. Men have taken over women's pageants. Men have taken over female hygiene products. They've taken over the covers of women's magazines. Ladies, are you pissed off enough yet? Because you've been completely erased.
That's a really good point. That's a really good point. And we all know it to be true. But again, it's a matter of opinion. I won't tell you too much of mine. You can go over to Patreon and find out exactly my opinion.
By left-wing endorsed hate. I'm still identifying as the Atlanta Braves third baseman, but nobody respects that. Let's defend women and ban men competing against them everywhere. And Megan, you ain't gonna go down as a good soccer player, honey. No. You're gonna go down as America's Karen. But hey.
Well, it's interesting because I don't know much about how well she plays soccer, but I do know that she's a nightmare. And like you said, you can tell by the hair. But that's how I know of her, to be honest with you, because of her political craziness. Because she's been hired to play soccer, and she's in the news about other things other than just soccer. You know, Cristiano Ronaldo, for example. When was the last time you heard him make a political statement? Never. He just plays good soccer. This is what she should be doing.
I do love the smell of purple hair burning in the morning.
He's funny. He's funny. He is. Whether you love him or hate him, and I like him, he's funny. So that was Buddy Brown's America's Karen. He's got a really good point. I'm happy to see that he's hit over 1 million subscribers now. He really does deserve it. He made some really good points, guys. You have to be honest and say that, you know. But he says it in this country way, which if someone who doesn't like or associate themselves with the South or isn't from the South or doesn't like the culture, you might see that as anger or whatever it may be, or condescension. But that's just him, and it's just the way he talks, and where he comes from has nothing to do with it, right? There are people that agree with him from New York, California, and Minnesota, for example, all around the country, yeah. And his views aren't crazy views, right? Men competing against women, it's not crazy to think that's not a good thing. It's not crazy to think that a man who has transitioned into a woman should win a beauty pageant over a very beautiful woman, may I add. So, you know, it's, yeah. Megan Rapinoe has done too much political activism and has spoken too much for her own good. She's paid to play the game, and she's paid to play it well. And when she talks about inequality and stuff like that, you know, we all know why female soccer players earn less than male soccer players. It's because of the turnout. It's nothing. There's nothing sexist about that. If you had a men's beauty pageant, okay, the prize money will most likely be less than a female beauty pageant because less people are going to show up and buy tickets for it. That's just the reality of it. There are certain things that's just the way it is at the moment, because it's always been a sport that's been played by men. You know, also, like, you know, that's just the way it is. I'm not saying it's correct that people prefer men's sports over women's sports. I'm not saying that's correct. I'm just saying the way that the way that you change that is not by activism, but it's by playing the sport and dedicating yourself to the sport, advertising the sport, marketing it correctly, and that's how that would happen. But that's, you know, I'll get into that more on the Patreon video. I hope you guys enjoyed this. It's just a bit of fun, guys. Look, he makes some really good and important points about society. He does, but he's funny. I like the way he talks. I think he's probably a good guy. He's probably a good guy to get a beer with and go hunting with. I do like him. So if you guys like him and you like this channel, give it a like and give this video a like and subscribe to the channel. Head over to Patreon to see my my more in-depth thoughts on this. And I'll see you guys in the next one, guys. Have a great day.